What's up, guys? So it seems like there's an endless amount of stuff to do to get your private practice off the ground and running. So how do you stay afloat in the midst of it all? Today we're gonna get into the good stuff and talk about time management. Be sure to stay tuned through to the end for my top tip for how to leverage your productivity in private practice. Productivity. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. When I meet up with other therapists in private practice, often one of the first questions people ask me is how I arrange my schedule and divide my time. And honestly, I'm likely to ask them the same question too. It seems like what we all want to know is, how do you manage to get all that stuff done and still keep it together? I've come up with two major takeaways amidst my interactions with other therapists about time management. First, it's important to find a schedule that works best for you, rather than taking a one-size-fits-all approach. Just because something works out super great for somebody else, that doesn't mean it's going to be a good fit for you. Second, so many therapists are working so much more than they need to. I know it's tempting to believe that more work should lead to better outcomes, but it couldn't be further from the truth. And I've personally been prone to fall into this trap as well, overworking myself thinking that that's going to help my practice get fuller faster. But let me steer you away from that belief because it's not true. It's not helpful to you or your business. I'm primarily going to be focusing on this second takeaway in this video. I'm going to talk about how to work smarter, not harder. When you're first starting out in private practice, there are so many things to do, and it can be tempting to try to do all of the things at once. Build a website, attend trainings, start a blog, start an Instagram, network with other therapists, etc. And it can be so tempting to try to do it all at once. If you've tried this before like I have, then you already know that this is a completely overwhelming approach, and it's a recipe for burnout. I'd like to propose a different approach for us. Let's take a little walk down memory lane. When I was younger, I wanted to learn how to play guitar, so I signed up for some guitar lessons. And I remember, to my frustration, my guitar teacher made me practice over and over these chord shapes with my fingers. And I thought it was so frustrating because it seemed to me that it wasn't getting me anywhere closer to being able to play music on guitar. But it couldn't be further from the truth. Over time, as I practiced one skill at a time and mastered it, I was able to eventually string them all together and to be able to finally play something that sounded like music and potentially be more successful than if I tried to learn all the things all at once and just try to play a song. Starting a private practice is the same. It's just like learning a new sport or a new musical instrument. We have to practice one technique at a time in order to truly master it. That leads us to my number one tip for how to manage your time in private practice: monotasking. Yes, monotasking is a real word. It's like multitasking, but the opposite. So instead of trying to take on everything all at once, we're just focusing on one thing at a time. All the research shows that multitasking does not help us be more productive, and monotasking is the key to time management. So how do we do this well? You can create a schedule where you break down your tasks on a monthly basis. So maybe this month, the one thing that you're focusing on is building your website's SEO. Then maybe next month, you're going to be focusing on starting an Instagram account, and so on. Being able to focus on just one task at a time has several benefits. First, as we mentioned before, it really gives you a chance to master a certain technique and integrate it into your private practice routine before moving on to another strategy. Second, it helps you avoid feeling totally overwhelmed by trying to take on everything at once. Third, it really enables you to see what changes you're making that are having the greatest impact on your practice. I mean, if you imagine if you did 5 things all at once and your practice grew, you might be tempted to think that you have to keep doing all 5 of those things, but maybe just one of them was actually what was making the greatest impact on your practice. So it's helpful to just target that item and isolate it rather than wasting your time on all these other things that aren't making a difference in your practice. Lastly, it gives you a chance to see which efforts are most intrinsically enjoyable for you and to help you set up a schedule that works best for you. As I mentioned earlier, there's no one-size-fits-all schedule for how to make this fit into your life. For example, I've experimented with a few different strategies to find out what works best for me. I've done it before where I worked 2 days a week only seeing clients face-to-face, but I packed in 10 clients per day. Or I've gone to the other direction of seeing clients across 4 days a week, but seeing about 4 to 5 clients per day. The way I do it right now is that I see clients 4 days a week and I keep my mornings open. So I have Mondays available to do all of my marketing stuff. That's when I write blogs, film videos like this one, keep up on my Instagram, etc. And then the items that are in my monthly routine, so let's say I'm working on my website SEO this month, I fit that into the mornings on the remaining 4 days of the week. So remember, do not multitask. Find a way to arrange your schedule so that you can focus on monotasking. Even when I have all these different things that I do on Mondays, I have it parsed out within my schedule for the day so that maybe I'm spending an hour on this and then I'm spending 2 hours on that rather than jumbling them all together. Hopefully you found these tips helpful to manage your time better in private practice. And if you have any tips that you think that could be helpful for others, feel free to leave them in a comment below so others can see them. Until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well. I don't know if he's happy right now. This looks uncomfortable. Oh, but he's purring.